Hello and welcome to another episode of Rebel Rogue, where today, to celebrate the launch of Codex Necrons, we will be painting a Szarekhan Dynasty Necron. Rebel Rogue. This model is a model I picked up second-hand from a local shop to me, local hobby shop, and it is missing an arm, but we're just going to ignore the fact it's missing an arm. And we're going to paint it. It is an older Necron warrior. It is not one of the new sculpts. I do quite like the new sculpts, but at the time of recording they haven't been released, except in Indomitus, so I can't get my hands on one. So today I will be painting this particular warrior. The Szarekhan Dynasty colour scheme is sort of like bronze, brass sort of armour with black joints and green carbine-y glowy bits. And I believe probably silver halberd blades on them. I'm not too sure. But that is the basic scheme we're going to go for today. If we are working with metallics, I will be using a synthetic brush for this. And the first colour we'll want to use is Vallejo's Hammered Copper. No, not Hammered Copper. Scratch that. Vallejo Brassy Brass. Hammered Copper is too red for what we want. We want a more bronzy brass colour. This brass colour will work well as a base coat for all the armour plates. We want to paint all of the main armour plates here and here, etc., but not the shoulder plates. They will be painted black at a later stage. Here you can see the result after one coat of this paint has been applied. I've applied it to all the armour panels, avoided the spine and the joints between the armour, included the feet, and avoided the back of the head. I've also avoided the shoulder blades. I would strongly recommend going back and doing a second coat, as this is likely to be the finished armour colour on most of your troops. The next part that we want to paint on our Necron warrior will be the joints. For this we will be using Vallejo Panzeraces German tank crew. If you've watched the channel for a while, you will know that this is pretty much my favourite colour for painting black. I'm hoping to expand a bit more to, say, painting clean blacks and such like, but this is just brilliant for painting black of any description. So I'm just going to paint it on the joints and onto the shoulder blades. I am going to skip out on the skeleton, but you could paint the skeleton in this way if you wanted to. For the I sort of want to paint the main spine, this little bit of skeleton here, in silver. I think it might look quite nice. I'm not too sure of the Szarekhan Dynasty colour scheme, but I'm quite aware it's like bronze and black. So it's the sort of scheme I'm going for. Put the back of the head in this black also, and any joints on the model. Mainly joints between the armour panels, things like the knee joint. Essentially it's the endoskeleton, as they call it, or just the skeleton of the model. The next step for our Necron warrior is to paint all the parts that we want to be gunmetal. I'm going to be using Vallejo Gunmetal Grey, and I'm going to be painting it onto the axe blade here and the weird pipes and stuff around there, because I'm going to use a green ink on them. I'm also going to paint it onto the spine and weird joints around there of this model. So again, taking the same brush we've been using, just to get our gunmetal grey, and put it onto the palette, like so. This is the particular bottle I'm using, if you want to see that. I normally just mention the colour, but if you need me to put it on screen, I've put it on screen. And then just painting it across the barrel, the prongy bits, and the other similar parts of the model. Sorry about that, that's my dogs going crazy. So, here we have the model fully base coated. You could easily leave it like this, but by putting a couple of washes on, you'll get a much better finish. And then if you wanted to, further down the line, there'll be a couple of easy ways you can make your model stand out even more on the tabletop. So, onto the washes. For this we are only going to be using one, and that is a black wash. You can use any brand, I'm just using a homemade one. But you could use Null Oil, you could use Dark Tone, you could use Vallejo's black wash, you could use anything that is a black wash. You could even make your own. Luke's APS has a very good tutorial on making them from floor polish and artist inks. So just painting it across all of the panels, metal and other parts of this model. Mainly painting it across the joints, as this will really darken them down and make them appear to be black. But across other parts of the model too, if that is useful. And in the little crevices we can just drop the ink in like so. We do want this brass tone to appear quite strong across the model, so I wouldn't recommend putting too much wash onto the brass. I would just mainly put it on around the rib cages and other such areas, putting the black wash into the recesses. Once the wash has dried, your model should look something like this, or it will be less shiny because the wash hasn't dried on this, but you get the idea. It'll be bronze, it will have black joints, and it will have silver in certain distinct areas. To make this model really stand out on the tabletop, there are a couple of things you can do. Firstly, you could do a quick edge highlight with our Vallejo Tank Crew Panzer Racers German Tank Crew. It's basically a dark grey on all of the areas we originally painted with it. You can edge highlight the metal on this, and you can tint the gun barrel and the little calibrated things around there, and maybe the pipes, with a green ink, which when this wash is dried I will show you how to do. Now that the wash on the gun barrel has pretty much dried, we can move on. I can show you how to do this green ink tinting. Firstly, you will need to purchase, if you do not own already, a green ink. I recommend Vallejo's Game Ink Green. It is a very good ink, but artist inks are also very useful. Acrylic artist inks, people use them a lot, and they're also very helpful for making your own washes. So possibly go down that route. You'll need to take your green ink. I'm just trying to get sticky stuff off the inside of the bottle. Take a bit of your green ink, put it on your palette. Put your bottle of it away and take your brush. Take this green ink and apply it to this metal area. We want to let it seep into all of the recesses on the metal, and it will just tint the metal a lovely green colour. If you use a dark metal, you'll get a dark green. If you use a light metal, you'll get a much brighter green. In this case, because I've got a very dark metal, I've got this very dark green colour of this Gauss flare, I believe it is. I'm not too up with me Necron lore and rules and weaponry, so yep. Probably spark outrage in the comments if I had anyone watching these videos. There we are. Anyway, that's it. This model is pretty much complete. You could of course go further and edge highlight all the armour and all that if you want to be really fancy, but I'm not that sort of person. So, if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a like. It will really help the channel and it costs you nothing. If you are enjoying multiple videos on this channel and have been for some time, please consider subscribing. It will, again, is free and really does help the channel out. If you want to message me, connect on Facebook and Instagram, then the links for both of those will be in the description below. And, well, I'll see you for the next video. And thank you for watching.